Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Nate, and welcome to our another episode of our episode reviews for the Loud House this time around. My name is Nate, and on my right side here is Omid. So, Omid, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What is up, Loud Chronic Casa Crew? How y'all doing? Hope you're ready for another fun-filled week of us talking about these wonderful Loud House episodes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, but so far so good. I believe we have these four episodes that we can't wait to review. Some good, some bad. You'll have to watch and see. I don't know. I mean, previewing right now these four episodes. Do you feel like some of them like stood out to you?
I feel that like there were a couple that stood out to me, like especially a few more that I liked fine. I liked them good, but I think it's like honestly, and the two particular ones that I feel are quite up there.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. I have to say I have my fair share in a couple of them. There's only like one episode I'm going to point out that I really like, but the rest of them, like I said, a little average. But we'll go ahead and get straight to the review. So let's get things started here. And now we're going to start off with our brand new subject called the weekly checkup. We always do this every time we do our streams. We always like check up how everybody's doing in our week. So, Omid, let's start off with you. How's your week been so far?
Oh, my weekend has been really great. So me, my mom's boyfriend, and my mom's friends, like a group of my mom's friends, we all went to Lake Tahoe for the weekend to celebrate my mom's birthday, and it was a lot of fun.
That's good to hear. I have one thing to say. You did win big. I've seen your Instagram stories.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I came out the big winner of the night because yeah, I basically um, did one of those slot machines and I ended up winning like over $100, and so I pretty much checked that out. So yeah, and also after that, I wasn't betting anymore because well, you gotta quit while you're ahead.
Yeah. So what how much you end up getting? Because it seems like you ended up getting like more than double than what you put in.
I got about like I would say 120 more.
Oh, not bad, not bad. I was gonna say, like, do you do slot machines? Do you do card games or anything like that?
Whenever I go to casinos, which is a once in a blue moon, by the way, because I live in NorCal. I
We have casinos up here. Don't forget Grayton and Cache Creek. I go to Cache Creek like whenever I have free time.
they're still far from me, but
I had to okay. I still have to take the drive, and I had to still, and it's still, okay. So if you have your day off of me, we should go to Cache Creek because literally we could drive up to Brooks, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. We'll go to Canes and pit stop for a bit, and then we'll go straight to Brooks to go to Cache Creek. I know this guy likes Canes now for some reason.
yes, Raising Canes, one of the
Okay,
best chickens ever.
it's good It's good chicken. Okay, that's all I can say.
Quality
But
chicken,
yeah,
quality chicken.
Kane's ended up coming over here to the Bay Area. We started sharing pictures of chicken that he ended up buying over there. So
Raising Cane's top tier chicken finger, in my opinion, because um, like I've been eating at Raising Cane's like way before Oakland. Like whenever I would go to SoCal or Las Vegas,
mm,
Raising Cane's has always been one of my favorite places to go.
all right, yeah, all right. Besides us getting off topic here, how so just a relaxing vacation off for you in Lake Tahoe? Nothing extravagant out there.
Nothing much except like chilling in the cabin house, the cabin lake house, and going to the beach and going to this fancy restaurant. I got the filet mignon, Gordon Ramsay quality, y'all.
So is it actually a Gordon Ramsay like restaurant that you went to?
No. The filet mignon, the quality of the steak was like gourmet, high chef
Mm.
tier.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Still though, you ended up getting out of the area here and ended up going up to Lake Tahoe, so that's good to hear. Yeah, good vacation for you, I would imagine, especially the fact that you got COVID and then this is your celebratory thing.
Definitely, it was a personal celebration, but it was mostly celebrating my mom's birthday. So yeah, it was quite a celebration,
All right.
mostly for her, but a little bit for me.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so your weekend was fun. My weekend was pretty much chill. Played some card games with a couple of friends. Looks like I'm getting a little bit better on the brand new meta that White Schwartz has. Um, and and my Sunday was pretty much all chill. Nothing really much happening around on a Sunday. Usually it's just mostly it's lazy for me, unless like football comes back that I can watch football all day. That's coming up soon, by the way, in 2 months.
Raider
So
Nation, let's
get ready
go.
for
Raider
that.
Nation.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch those games again, man. This is gonna be fun.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, nothing really much for this weekend. Hopefully this weekend is gonna be sorry, nothing much last weekend, but hopefully this weekend there's like something fun to check out and all. So yeah, all right. So let's actually get things started. Let's actually start off with our episode reviews, and let's start off with the first episode that aired on the 10th. Uh, yeah, on the 10th of June, and it's called Bummer Camp. So the synopsis here says when Gramps struggles to run Camp Mastodon, the kids come to his rescue. So first off, we get to see Gramps again. Yeah, this is the last time we actually saw him was back at camp, or AKA the David Steele episode, because he also was making an appearance as well. But here we go again. We're back at Camp Mastodon. He's running the camp like what it was promised in camp, and unfortunately, it turns out to be all bad. So, I mean, what were your thoughts knowing that Gramps is actually doing a bad job right now over at his campground?
Yeah, I can't help but feel bad for the guy because ever since camped, he pretty much was back to running Camp Mastodon. But unfortunately, he's pretty much stuck in his old fishing ways. And because of that, it's going to make it very hard for him to run camp the proper way.
I think the other thing too is that have we ever seen him run a camp before? Because he's been in camp and he loves Camp Mastodon. That's the reason why he saved it. My thing is like, can he, do whatever? I don't know. Can he run a camp? That's the thing. Like, we never see him run a camp. He just ended up buying the camp and ended up like owning it. I think this is actually a good like follow up to camp because it just feels like he's not doing great at the summer camp right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Going from camper to camp counselor, it is not easy at all. Trust me.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Gramps had to have some help from the kids, and the loud kids did end up helping him out. Um, so so the whole scenario here, according to what Gramps is saying, is the fact that the counselors bailed him. And the other thing too is that Lincoln ended up with the idea that to help out the Gramps. If I read this. So what are your thoughts on the kids actually helping out Gramps, especially in this situation?
It's really heartwarming and really sweet for the loud kids to pretty much help their grandpa from Lynn Senior's side run the camp. But it's mainly because they don't want Gramps to leave because they just got him back from the episode Camped. By the way, top tier quality episode Camped is. Anyway, like it was nice to see not only them reunite with Gramps, but also legit helping him out by playing the roles as camp counselors. And judging from the different interests that the loud kids have, let me tell you, they would make quite awesome camp counselors. Like you got Luna. I would imagine
Yeah.
Luna teaching the campers music, Lynn teaching the campers sports, Lisa teaching them science, which kind of defeats the purpose of summer camp when you do think about it, because, well, summer camp is for escaping math, like it's ain't school. And then and then you got
No, no, no.
Lana,
I know Lisa would just teach the kids math. Like, I mean, come on.
and then you got
Who knows?
Lana, who of course,
Who knows? There's some kids that would love to learn while they're in camp. There is math camp.
and then you got Lana, who, of course, she knows the ways of like nature and loves animals, eats worms, all this stuff. So let me tell you, she would definitely be the most authentic camp counselor of the Loud Kids.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing that I kind of get bugged on. It's like, okay, cool. They all have their certain skills and everything. Lenny can teach fashion to kids. Luann can teach comedy. Luna can have a concert over at the campgrounds. To say the least, Camp Mastodon could be great with these kids. The problem is, how does what was it, Gramps end up running the camp? Well, it seems that he does a pretty bad job. um, a lot of things happened when the kids were there. They had to sleep in his boat, which is not really comfortable for them. They had to wake up at 3 a.m. for training, quote unquote training, where they had to like grab fish at the same time, take out barnacles from underneath the boat. So to say the least, this isn't something that the counselors would love to do, obviously. When you see this, did it make any sense that the counselors would do this, would ditch him because of that?
Oh, barnacles. Okay, I just had to get that out of the way. Yeah, honestly, it definitely wasn't fair for the loud kids to pretty much be really uncomfortable, like have an uncomfortable space in the boat, and then having to do all these all this stuff like fishing stuff, like catching fish with their hands in like cold water, and then also scraping off the barnacles from the canoe. Um, like because they went all this way to help Gramps out. They just didn't expect that it would be, really weary, really, how should I put it? Really difficult instead of really fun. So yeah, I do feel for the loud kids, but I am proud of them for their patience and for sticking around with Gramps despite the fact that um like the way they expected their quality time with Gramps, um like the way they spent time with the Grams didn't exactly meet their expectations.
No, it it definitely did not. I mean, freaking waking up at 3 in the morning while the counselors obviously do not have that sort of time and effort or anything like that. Maybe Gramps does, but then he's an old timer. Maybe just the fact that he has experience when it comes to running a camp or just living it up over in the what was it? Living it up over in a boat, pretty much. Taking out barnacles, I guess, is something that you counselors have to do, but it obviously you get to see like the pain that the kids end up having, especially when they have to like scrape it out. And knowing that there's too many of them makes sense why the counselors ended up like bailing out of Gramps' campground and everything. To say the least, I understand why the loud kids ended up getting all frustrated when it comes to this, because this is not how you run a camp at all.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I love Gramps, but let me tell you, if I were one of the camp counselors, let me tell you, I would have bailed too.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing too. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now the kids decide to do the hard thing, and yeah, scrape off the barnacles. So here's the thing. The kids need to obviously confess the fact that this is not how you run a camp. So with Lily's help, um, that's so weird because like, okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, with Lily's help, Grandpa gets the word that he couldn't be able that the kids don't like how he's running the camp, and for better purposes though, the kids would actually help him out with running a camp. So how did you like this here, where the kids actually teach Gramps how to run a camp?
Okay, like I love the fact that it's Lily that comes up to Gramps and says how the camp kind of sucks because we expected someone like a loud kid who is good at fluent English. You never really expected like a baby slash preschooler like Lily to actually say those words like in complete sentences. Like let me tell you, Lily now speaks in complete sentences. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised about that. So when Lily was the one person to actually talk to Gramps, he actually though like she actually can enunciate well. Like she says, "Fishy camp, no good," or something like that, and then Gramps understands him too. So it's like this kind of interaction is great. And the other thing too is that Lily's growing up. It just shows you that Lily can talk. Lily's not goo goo gaga anymore, not in diapers anymore. She's not a baby. She's now a young preschooler who can walk and can actually communicate to people and everything. So it's just like this is a good sign of her growing up, and I'm pretty happy about this. That they are doing this whole continuity thing that we've been talking about. So at least the Loud House has been doing their homework here, and has been giving us our good content. That's for sure.
yeah, they grow up so fast, man.
Right. So how do you like the fact that the kids do end up trying to help Gramps when it comes to this situation?
Oh, I really do like how the loud kids still stick around to pretty much help Gramps run camp the way it should be ran. You know what I mean? And let me tell you, they do all sorts of activities in order for Gramps to pretty much change his ways and to do camp the right way. Like those activities, they include archery. Insert Hawkeye joke here. Water skiing and making delicious hot schmoes. They're called s'mores, Omid.
Schmoes. We call it schmoes. What?
No, it's like they're called s'mores, Buzz. Just kidding. But
Oh,
unfortunately,
oh yeah.
Gramps is pretty much out of touch with the modern camping environment. So, of course, he messes up every one of them by pretty much doing these activities his own way. And since he's doing activities his own way and not the proper way, of course, things go awry. Like things pretty much end up, falling flat. And so this causes him to pretty much give up and go out to sea again.
I really didn't like that part too, because like I understand Gramps is doing a lot of effort for him to, um, at least try to run a proper camp to say. Archery is fun, but at the same time, he cannot work on his archery well, so he ends up bringing up like a archery gun for some reason. I was like, wait, did that come into your camp? Wait, makes sense. It's a boating thing, so you do have that spear, or do have something that can like at least like get the sharks or get the big fishes or something like that. So maybe that's why he brought it out. Um, Also, the whole water skiing thing is also a thing as well. What was it? The whole water skiing thing was also a good thing as well. He could have actually ran that well. Instead, he started chasing fishes, and Lola started to like get collapse after that. And then, how the hell do you mess up with s'mores? By the way, I'm sorry, Gramps. How do you mess up with s'mores?
Seriously, like making s'mores is not that hard to do. All you do is just, get a little toasted marshmallow, right? Toast up them marshmallows, right? And then you just like, put the marshmallow, the chocolate, like, and then you put the graham crackers, right? It's like, boom, like a little sandwich. Not that hard.
Exactly. How do you actually mess that up? I'm like, okay, I guess that's how it is. Yeah. So, well, yeah. At the end, though, what was it? Sorry. So at the end, though, Gramps is supposed to set sail because he gave up, and I'm sorry, but he just going to be able to actually run a camp. What happened though is that when he was about to leave, the kids actually came along with him, which means that even if he might lose the camp, the kids would still go to his boat and actually learn how to like run a boat like what Gramps does. And at the same time, Gramps also does come back and also goes back to camp. How do you like this whole scenario here where it's like, hey, the kids wants to help you on your boat? No, I'll go back to the camp and I'll run it again. How'd you like that situation here?
Like, let me tell you, it's really heartwarming to see the kids want to spend time with Gramps no matter where they are, land or sea. It really does show how the loud kids want to spend and cherish every moment they have with Gramps because they don't really see Gramps that often. Um, and certainly not in comparison to Pop Pop, their other grandfather, the one from Rita's side of the family. Like they see him much more often and much more easily. Whereas with Gramps, it's pretty much a once in a blue moon because he's usually like far away, like a 3 hour drive. So I do like the fact that they still stick with him no matter what.
I like the fact that like even with the loud kids, obviously don't want to have the situation where they're gonna lose the campground. I like the fact that the kids would still be able to help Gramps out in this situation. Like I understand like the whole campground of Camp Mastodon definitely is such a heartwarming thing for Lynn Sr. and his his dad. Um, and I do love the support that the kids would actually show in this episode, where even if he lost it, possibly he's gonna lose it, he would still they still want to at least hang out with him or anything. And then what's kind of great is like with that whole inspiration, it brought Gramps back to Camp Mastodon to at least help him out in their situation. I mean, to help him out and actually try to make the whole campground more fun to say. Um, Still, the kids end up being counselors, and I think with all the learning that the kids ended up giving him, he still ended up having a fun. He still ended up making a fun campground to say. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I do like the fact that this inspired Gramps to pretty much give running the camp another shot. And wouldn't you know it, it actually turns out to be a success this time. Look at that. You got all these little kids like swimming, pretty much lying by the beach, having a good time and all that stuff. And then of course you got this little girl who's like, enjoying the water skiing. And yeah, pretty much a all's well that ends well sort of thing. So I would say, yeah, definitely good on Grams for making the Camp Macedon a success after so many attempts, and good on Loudkiss for helping him out.
I have one question to ask. What happened? What would happen if was it Gramps does lose Camp Macedon?
I think if he did lose Camp Macedon, um, pretty much what would happen, this would be like an alternate ending. But what would happen is that Gramps and the Loudkiss still spend time anyways together, but it's just that they pretty much go fishing on the boat, and of course you would see Lana pretty much in the water trying to pretty much she caught a fish, but instead of a hand, she caught it by her mouth. I think that
Of
would
course.
definitely happen.
My thing though is like if things did go unfortunately bad where Lynn's grandpa ends up actually was it losing up Camp Macedon, if it was a good, if it would be a good ending, if he does lose Camp Macedon, at least the kids will be there to at least like work on the boat or anything. Um, but here's the other thing too. If it actually went that way, that kind of sucks considering that camp kind of was useless then.
Yeah, exactly. Like Camp would have no point then. Like Camp Macedon would have been dead forever. All right, like
Yeah,
Camp
it would have been
Macedon would
gone.
have been dead
It would have
forever.
been gone. Like we would have lost Camp Mastodon. My thing too is that Gramps does pop up in and out throughout the season. I mean, he was in Lincoln's birthday for stress for the not stressful part, Present Danger, for example.
Yeah, I do
So
like the fact that he rode all the way for about like 3 to 5 hours to pretty much celebrate his grandson's birthday. Like
yeah,
it's really awesome, like dedication on his part.
I feel he's gonna be a recurring character. He's just gonna be like a secondary character. But I feel like when they actually made him come back to Camp Macedon, it makes sense why he would be the ones that's running the whole thing. If it did end up with the alternate universe where, in for example, that Camp Macedon is gone, that means the whole camp episode definitely was useless. And that was like, oh wow, really, loud writers, you have to do that.
Yeah, I like that they didn't do that because let me tell you, like I said before, Camped is one of the best Loud House episodes I've ever seen. Like top three favorite. It's I adored that much. And if they went that route, let me tell you, I would have hated this episode because come on, you do not make Camped useless. Okay, Camped has to have a point throughout the series, and thankfully, it still does.
Thankfully, it does, yeah, and thankfully, Camp Macedon is still there. So how anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes, I would definitely say this. This definitely is a sequel to Camp in which we got to see not only Gramps again. Um, okay, like by that logic, Present Danger would be a sequel
Yeah,
to
you.
Camp
Well,
if
I
we
mean,
went
you
by
saw
that
him
logic.
again in Present Danger.
But
Is this this
but
is this is just more of like Lynn? Sorry, Gramps over in his environment where he loves to camp, for example.
But we got to see Camp Macedon as well. Camp Macedon still looks as beautiful as ever, even when it's close to it's if you even when it's close to death. Camp Macedon is still looks really great. So that's why I say like Bumper Camp served as a sequel to Camped, and let me tell you, while obviously not nearly as good as Camped, of course, Camped is top tier anyway, so it's impossible to beat anyway. Bummer Camp does serve as a worthwhile sequel.
I think it's like a good sequel to have. I mean, like you kind of like camp was a great episode. Now you kind of figure out what's going on in the camp. Like now you have an issue over at the camp that the kids will try to fix, and in the end they still end up getting Cap Macedon back again and everything. So it feels like it's a good way to see. It's a good way to actually bring back Camp Macedon, considering that it was part of a very amazing episode of Camped. And yeah, obviously it's now part of the Loud House universe. They need to bring it back. They need to have Gramps in his environment and see how Camp Macedon is going to be, because it would suck if you don't have a follow-up episode about it, you know. This reminds me, can we actually go back to Scotland? Lock Loud,
Yes,
please. Can we have that? Loud Writers season 7 is
I want to
available
see.
now.
I want to see
Season 7
Angus
is
again.
happening, so please.
Yo, I want to see Angus again, man. Angus
Oh
was
my
such,
god.
Angus was the goat, man. Angus is the goat.
Yeah. But yeah, I got nothing much to say here. So let's head over to our ratings. How would you rate Bummer Camp?
I would definitely rate Bummer Camp and a 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's definitely a worthwhile sequel to Camped. It definitely had all the right elements to make it a worthwhile Camp Mastodon episode. I really love the bond between the Loud Kids and Gramps, and especially considering the fact that they don't see Gramps nearly as often as they would their other grandfather. It's definitely something. It's definitely a sight to behold. I do like how Gramps is pretty much trying to learn the ways of running a camp, but then he's kind of stuck in his old fishing ways. So it's an interesting take on how like an old character like Gramps can, tend to be stuck in a certain way of doing things, but then he tries his best, of course, to run it how it's supposed to be run. And from what we've seen, I like how it builds up slowly. It's not, it's not rushed or anything like that. We do see him struggling, but then he gets better throughout the episode. And yeah, definitely. And also fluent English Lily.
He's growing up. She's growing up. That's good to see that Lily's growing up. Um, I gotta say this though, this wasn't bad of a sequel. I think it should have been better. I mean, sequel episode for Camp is not bad. I felt like this was kind of under lacking to say when it comes to it. Yes, there was the problem that persisted. I think there was actually so. I think they would have been better off like running in a better solution with the way that the kids were, trying to help Gramps out with his situation. But like I said, not bad of an episode. That nothing that kind of entertained me. Not gonna lie. Um, but I have to give this 7.5 out of 10. Okay of an episode, great sequel to actually recognize that Camp Macedon is still there and Gramps is still running it. But like I said, nothing that kind of really made me okay with it. I thought it was okay ish, but not that entertaining. Sorry, y'all.
It's fair, man. It's one of those things where it's like, you just want to stick to the original, right? It's like the
Kind of
original
do.
is such a
But the
masterpiece,
original was the
and then
original was the beginning. Like it started off Camp Macedon that way, and the whole thing was really good of an episode. So I'm just gonna stick with it. Like Camp was great. Now, if you have another sequel episode coming up, let's see if we can actually make it a whole lot better than this one. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, chances are, like Camp Macedon has the potential to be a prominent setting for some episodes. And considering season 7 just got announced, I have a good feeling that Camp Macedon and Grams will make more appearances in the future.
Oh yeah, most definitely. All right, so that's the end of Bummer Camp for our review of that episode. Let's head over to the episode that also aired right after that. It's called Sleepstakes. The synopsis here says Loud kids help Lana get over her fear of sleepovers. Now, the episode with this episode starts where the Louds get their mail, and Lana does end up getting a mail about an invitation. But we also do get to see the flaw that Lana has. She cannot handle sleepovers. How did you feel about this? I'm like, Lana, out of all the stuff that you do, being courageous, being muddy, being dirty, you don't like sleepovers? That's something new that I never expected to see from Lana.
Yeah, honestly, it's sort of like how I was pretty surprised. This is similar to how I was surprised by Lynn's fear of throwing up in Hurl Uninterrupted.
Oh, let's
Yeah, it's a fear that kind of came out of the blue because Lana has been known to pretty much get her hands dirty in a sense. Like she's been the one that's like willing to take risks, willing to pretty much go through the mud and all this stuff. So yeah, you never really expect Lana of all characters to pretty much have a fear of sleepovers. Much like how with Lynn, how she always eats and all that stuff. You would think that she would be used to throwing up by now. But anyway, back to this episode. But then on the other hand, you do understand that at the end of the day, Lana is just a little kid. So kids at that age, at Lana's age, whenever they're far from home during the night, it's pretty much hard for them to, cope. It's hard for them to get used to a different environment overnight, away from her family. Now, of course, we've seen Lana, spend the nights outside of the Loud House, but the thing is, she was usually with her family. She was usually with her
mm-hmm.
family. This time around, she's spending the night outside her home and outside her family. So that's a real challenge for her.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think we ever see Lana actually like sleep over or like go to someone's house and sleep over there or something like that. And you're right, Omi. There's the only situations that I've seen Lana go out of the house and actually sleep with like friends or some or with anybody would be her family. I can remember what was it? Fool's Paradise, for example, where Lana had to yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that one episode where Lana had to sleep pretty much with her family. She was actually praying to
Oh my
to the
god.
moon or something. I remember that episode. That was great.
So Lana's religious, huh? Lana
I
must be
guess
religious.
she literally just like prayed to the moon. I'm like, okay, I didn't expect this, but she was actually like praying for her pets, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, Lana was pretty cool. But yeah, this is just brand new to me. I'm like, okay, so I want to counteract with your interaction with Lynn throwing up. I was like, that one was absolutely out of the bloom, and I kind of didn't like that part. um, but then yeah, this is brand new to me too. Like, I feel like for Ilana's case, she's just a young kid and she's just in elementary school. I understand that she has that homesickness. She's been in at home this whole time. She's always been with her family. She's always been with Aloud, but she's never been like, at home by herself. I mean, you could counteract with the fact that she was hanging out with Sam over at Animal House. But it's so much different considering that you're sleeping over with friends and during out a, and according to what they've been saying, you don't even Lala doesn't even last like 30 minutes in a sleepover. She literally just like goes in a sleepover, then just leaves and just calls her mom back. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is just not good to hear. And then, like I said, it's just brand new. Lana definitely has a flaw, and no doubt the Loud family needs to help her out with this, especially with the fact that this is a sleepover that she really wants to go to, especially with one of her friends inviting her to it.
Yeah, so that's where the Loud kids come in to pretty much lend a hand to her because Lincoln told Lana that each of the Loud kids have had experience with sleepovers. Well, I mean, technically, when you count overnight success, it's kind of true. Where Luna and Lenny do
Well,
have
that would be
sleepovers
that
in the
would be
Loud
Lincoln.
house,
Yeah, that would be. Oh, yeah, for like 1 second, but then you also get to see like, well, that was more for Clyde in this case, considering that Clyde was sleeping over.
and
Um,
Lincoln too.
yeah, but Lincoln was at his house.
And so were Luna,
Oh, right,
and so
right,
were
right.
Lenny.
Yeah, but this is
Overnight
different. But
success.
okay, but this is different though, because Lana's going to a different person's sleepover though.
That's true. That's definitely true. So yeah, it's totally different when you're in a different place. But then Lincoln mentioned to Lana that they've all been there where they've slept over in
Hmm.
different places. So because of their experience, they wanted to use their experiences and sleepovers to help her out.
Yeah, and let's actually explain those different scenarios. And I like how this practice sleepovers happen because first off, they go to a campground, and what does sorry, they go to a camp, they go to a campground, which is pretty much like literally their backyard for like what, only 10 feet away instead. And it turned out really good for Lana, considering that there's a distraction for her to get through the night, aka the television screen. How did you feel about this practice that they were giving to Lana?
I really love how inventive the Louds were with it. Since obviously they can't use the real TV because, well, Lynn's got dibs on the TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Apparently
don't
you
want
can't, yeah, you
don't
can't
mess with Lynn's
mess with
dibs.
Lynn.
Don't.
Yeah, don't mess with Lynn dibs, right, right.
So anyway, they pretty much make a TV scenario of their own, and what they do is that they pretty much use their imaginations, and then Lana's siblings pretend to be characters on the TV, which was really cool, which was really awesome to see. Like it's sort of similar to how that episode of Rugrats where like the babies pretty much pretend to
Oh
be
yeah.
certain characters on TV. Yeah, this is kind of the same thing here. Um, I don't know if this is Nickelodeon's way of paying tribute to Rugrats. I could be wrong, but you know, you feel free to correct me on that.
Nah, I don't.
And then so then you see
I have no sources on that.
so then you see Lana going like click click, and then oh my god, each of the characters play phenomenal in the roles. Like you see Lola pretty much bragging about how she wants some sort of like pageant thing, and then it clicks to oh my god, yes, the best part of this, Lincoln as David Steve. Love that part. Love that part. Like, oh my
And
god,
it just tells you
Lincoln
Lincoln
kills it
still,
as
and
David
it
Steele
just
every
tells
time.
you Lincoln still love David Steele. I feel like season 6 is definitely all about that, considering that we're going to review an episode, literally an episode of Lincoln and Clyde being David Steele characters.
I love how season 6 is embracing Lincoln Loud as David Steele. I just love it so much.
Yeah.
Like, yes, David Steele over James Bond. Don't at me.
Well, Daniel Craig will have a word with you about that.
Yeah. Or like, well, I mean, rest in peace, Sean Connery, but Sean Connery's fans may have a word with me too.
Pierce Brosnan too. Yeah, a lot of James Bond roles. But yeah, I mean, this whole scenario was pretty cool. The TV obviously was taken, and I do love how everybody was trying to get involved with helping Lana out. Lucy, Lola, Lisa, and Lincoln. Lincoln definitely with his whole David Steele thing was like, yeah, of course he would love to be one of his favorite actors and just portray it over there. Was Lola was trying to show like something. I don't know what it was. Lisa was giving the news, obviously double click because no one wants to listen to the news. Good job, Lana. And Lucy
Lana made
definitely
the
giving
right
out.
call, yeah.
Yeah, and then Lucy with the spooky stories, that makes sense because Lucy is Lucy. But yeah, it did help her out, made her feel comfortable. So Lana does have the sense of trying her best to get away from sleepovers and making herself more comfortable when it comes to it. But here's the other thing, that's not it. This is only a couple feet of this is only a couple feet away. Remember, her fear is just because it's a different house and it's miles away. So they're gonna go to another place out there, and they went to Mr. Grouse's place instead. Um, that one there looks more of like a scenario where they're sleeping in the living room of Mr. Grouse's house, but at the same time they also did bring out the stink of the house, and I'm like, oh, do we really need that?
Yeah, and the stink, of course, comes from Lisa's spray, which she used the chemicals of all the things that do take place in the Loud House, so that Lana can use whenever she gets homesick, so that the smell can remind her of home. So yeah, that's pretty much why the chemical spray is with her, and yeah, something tells me she might need it because the homesickness can be real.
I don't know about that's a weird one. Just considering that, I guess Lana really does love the smell of the house. It kind of felt like a fart joke to me. I'm like, really, we need more of these fart jokes.
Exactly. Yeah, not a fan of those, but at least they're from a spray and not from anywhere
I mean, the
else.
stank is still the same as a fart, though.
Stink is still there. Yeah, like the green smoke. You can see the green smoke.
No, I mean, like, oh god, we got another fart joke. I get it. Lana is a nasty person. It's like a not a nasty person, but it's more of like a person who loves to be down and dirty. But not like this. I don't know. I guess she does love the smell of her house. It's weird. Okay, last but not least, they go to one more spot and they went to Sunny Shores where Sunset Canyon. When they went to the dining hall and they would have a sleepover there. How did you like this scenario here, where it's actually a couple miles away from their house and they're having a sleepover there?
Um, so yes, so pretty much what I like is that like the practice sleepover rounds build up. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much like one place is much farther than the last. And of course, with the dining hall, according to what Lisa said, it's pretty much the same equal distance from the house as Kayla's house. So that's what makes this perfect. So um and also not to mention that when you look at the dining hall, like right there, it's kind of like dark with some lights, so it's not completely dark. So that's good for Lana. And so Lucy pretty much plays the big sister and gives Lana a certain pillow to help her get through the night, to pretty much help her cope with being outside her home for the night. So good on Lucy. Yeah, I liked how Lana's getting better and better at this.
Yeah, I feel like this is a building block sort of scenario where, like, I get it, like it's getting more and more distant for you, and we have some things for you to get yourself improved when it comes to the scenario of you sleeping over. Um, with the whole hugging the pillow, for example, was actually pretty cool. Especially the fact that it's her pillow that has a lot of like green, like frog slime and everything like that. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's totally Lana's pillow. But yeah, Lana did end up getting more comfortable when it comes to sleepovers. So now it's time for the big test. Lana does go to Kayla's sleepover, and it feels like she's confident when it comes to the sleepovers now, until it all goes awry. No TV for one thing, because the dog actually ran over I don't know, went through the TV.
Oh, no TV. That's the worst part. No TV.
Unfortunately, there's no TV. And I think the spray didn't work out or something, and nonetheless, it just ended up really being bad for Lana.
Yeah, what happened
Um,
was that Kayla's dog had the spray in his mouth and was unable to give it to her. So yeah.
so it's not all good for Lana, and now she needs her siblings again. So explain your scenario here when all things go awry for in Lana's situation.
Yeah, I honestly really do feel for Lana because just when she's been prepared, just when she actually feels ready to get through the night, the tools that she needs to pretty much help cope with being in a sleepover far from her house and her family, they're pretty much null. They're not available anymore because of their own separate reasons. So yeah, of course, Lana, in a desperate attempt to find another solution, would definitely call the loud siblings who did help her in the first place to pretty much find more solutions. So yeah, I really do feel for Lana, and I do hope that she makes it through okay.
Yeah, I mean, like with all the things that she's been practicing, it does make sense why she started to feel like so bummed again. That she's already has that fear again coming over her. That obviously the siblings need to help her out. So on we go as the siblings try to help her out, but but unfortunately, they had to ruin their fun, considering that they're about to have a fun night out. While the parents are having a fun night out, the kids were just having a fun time coming in with a pillow fight happening. That is until they got the call from Lana, and all these scenarios happen where Lana tries to, try to make peace to say. One situation was when, what is it? Uh, Sorry, I'm reading your outlines. Oh, to bring her pets over. And another let's go through scenario. One scenario was when she wanted to bring her pets, but that didn't turn out to be going pretty well. How'd you feel about that when she
Oh,
tried to get through that scenario?
okay, first off, I just have to say this. Like, I absolutely love how after Lindsay and Rita go out on the date, like the loud kids have their little smirk. Like, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They were just waiting. Those kids were just
I mean, it's
waiting for
more. I
Lindsay
mean,
and Rita to
you
go
know
out the
that they're going
door.
to have a fun. You know they're going to have a fun night to themselves, I guess. By pillow
Yeah.
fighting.
Lem I'm just gonna say this right now. Things sure are different now that Lori isn't around to boss them around when their parents leave. Just saying. So yeah, they pretty much have their pillow fight, having fun and all that stuff when they get a call from Lana. And then of course she asked them to bring the pets over, like El Diablo, Bitey, Duncan, and all that stuff. So through Dibs on it, of course, Lenny has to go bring the animals to Lana by somehow driving. I mean, she doesn't have a
Oh
license
yeah,
yet,
that's
does she?
right. Wait.
That's kind of a
Was it?
continuity
Wait,
error,
wait, wait,
guys.
wait, wait, wait. Driver's dread was supposed to happen, right? Did it
Yeah,
happen
but it
before
doesn't
this
happen till
episode? I don't know. I
later.
don't know. I don't know. I thought it happened before this episode, or maybe we're out of order. Nickelodeon, what are you doing? I think we're out of order here.
Yeah, honestly, it should be driver's dread before sleepstakes. Otherwise, you know, like Lenny is kind of breaking the law if she doesn't
Yeah.
have a license. Just saying, bad girl, Lenny, bad girl. You're a bad girl.
Nonetheless, I mean,
Anyway,
they need a drive. They need a driver, and here's the other thing too. I don't know how they ended up getting a date, considering that I guess mom and dad do have their own separate car for them to actually go out on a date. Because Van Zilla is with them, so how was that
that is so
happening?
weird.
Yeah, I'm
That is
guessing
so
what an
weird.
Uber. I guess like an Uber. Maybe have been the situation where like their mom and where Lynn and Rita were having their date. I guess this is how they got themselves out. Still, it's interesting how that happened.
Plot hole. Not just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of plot holes in this episode. We gotta explain this a lot more.
Anyway, now pretty much Lenny does make sort of a cock-a-doodle-doo sort of noise, like a rooster. And so pretty much Lana uh, sees Lenny at the window with the pets. Lenny hands Lana the pets, and you would think that those pets will help with Lana's situation, but we're going to touch on that right now.
No, it didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't. It seems that I don't know what happened. I forgot. What because she put her pets in her sleeping bag, and obviously, everybody, all of her friends were like, "Why is that? What is that commotion that's under your bag?" And obviously, the pets just popped out. Yeah, that still didn't turn out to be. Still didn't turn out to go well for her. So again, still homesick. The kids would do whatever it takes to make sure Lana feels comfortable. What Lana said now, what Lana is doing now, is the fact that what was it? They need a like was it Lana was suggesting lasagna, one of the lasagnas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no lasagna available for the Louds to give her, and it was a frozen one. So yeah, Lana was obviously picked off the fact that lasagna was frozen. It broke off. I know that Lana's trying her best when it comes to like making her feel like she's at home, but it still starts to like fall down the wayside to say. Like this part here just felt like, oh, I'm so sorry, your lasagna is frozen, and it didn't work out in the end for that one.
Yeah, they didn't even like even the not even the lasagna plan worked because for some reason it was frozen, and then as soon as Lincoln and Lynn. By the way, I love how Lincoln and Lynn work as a duo again,
Yeah, they're
like sort of like
okay. This
Dis
is
the
what I've been
cook.
liking. This is what I've been liking about the season. I mean, no more fighting between Lincoln and Lynn. They're at least bringing bro and sis, which I love. I like
Yeah,
this kind of interaction.
I mean, sure, Lynn still does call Lincoln Stinkin still, but then again,
I'm
siblings
looking
do
at you,
give each other
Lincoln.
nicknames.
I'm looking at you, Lincoln Alita. Stop hating Lynn now.
Then again, siblings do give each other nicknames, so it's quite common. So I don't see what the big fuss is all about. Anyway, when they do go and get the lasagna, and then Mr. Grouse pretty much encounters them and tries to kick them out of the house, I'm kind of surprised if Mr. Grouse did say, "My fridge, my property."
I get that slogan kind of like, was it kind of lost its texture, or maybe just forgot about it. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, I'm kind of surprised he didn't say that because I would imagine like that's the closest thing that he gets to his own catchphrase, "My year and my property."
Hmm. No, I love that part too, where like they had Lynn and Lincoln had to get that lasagna from Mr. Grouse, and Mr. Grouse had to like take them out, like, "Hey, get out of my house," and all that jazz. Anything for lasagna to make sure Lana feels happy. I understand that. But unfortunately, it broke. The lasagna didn't work out for Lana, and they go to another resort. They go to another solution, actually asking mom. But remember, Lynn Senior and Rita are currently out on a date, which means that it's time to bring back an old favorite of ours, which I really love, by the way. It's where Lincoln actually dresses up as Rita. And FYI, this is another callback to certain episodes back in season 1 and season 4, or season 5.
Yes.
I forgot. Um, Sorry, season cheatings and cover girls. I mean, yeah, obviously you have to remember about those, and it just tells you like, okay, cool. But they at least remember that Lincoln has dressed up as Rita or any of these characters before. But I thought it was awesome. But how did you feel about Lincoln dressing up as Rita, as Rita for to help Lana in the situation?
Oh yeah, let me tell you, like Lincoln himself is the master of disguise. Let me tell you, he can pull off his siblings and especially his mom in flying colors. And let me tell you, like Lincoln made a convincing Rita, especially with the bone cheek. And
Hmm.
it's pretty much like this is where like I usually hate when characters fall for obvious disguises, but it kind of makes sense for Lana. It makes sense for Lana to pretty much fall for this disguise right there because, well, look at the bone structure for one thing, and then second off, she is 5 or 6, so it's at an age where it hasn't reached to a point where she pretty much deciphers disguises easily.
Right.
So
It's not that. I mean, that kind of makes sense why Lana was actually able to believe that Lincoln is Rita in this case. And you're right, Omid. It is the fact that she's still a young kid and all.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where a character falling for a disguise pretty much doesn't really bother me too much right here. So
Hmm. But yeah, I do love this whole thing here. It's like I love the callbacks to Cover Girls and Season's Cheatings. Just tells you that Lincoln still has that full list of disguises, and he's still be able to pull it off and everything. So yeah. But the other thing too is that they would be found out the fact that was it that they will be found out the fact that Lincoln and Lynn were both dressing up as Rita, and I gave no other option for Lana but to pretty much go home. Throughout this whole last couple of sequences here, Lana was about to go home. But what happened though, as she was about to go home, was the fact that she realizes well, it's weird because like when she actually talks about going home, she talks to her friends, and apparently she didn't know about the fact that they do not sleep during sleepovers. So they end up getting a pizza, and they'll do whatever it takes to make sure they don't sleep. And that made Lana a little bit more happy to actually be in the sleepover. So how'd you like this whole ending scenario here, where Lana starts to love sleepovers and the fact that it's not all about sleeping; it's literally all about staying up all night and having fun.
yeah, I do love the fact that once Lana knows the true meaning of sleepovers, that causes her to think, I won't have to worry about nightmares anymore because I won't be able to sleep anyway because I'll be having too much fun with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do love that aspect where it's like all the things that she thought the bad things she thought could possibly happen in sleepover turns out to pretty much be some sort of like just a fear, nothing more. Like, what if it came true? What if I do get a nightmare? But thankfully, because they'll be having fun with the games and pieces and such all night, yeah, the possibilities, the chances of that are pretty much null because of that. So, yeah, I'm really happy that like Lana feels comfortable, starts to feel comfortable being in Kayla's house away from the loud house family for the night.
I think the fact is that when she started to realize what sleepers are all about, and the fact that remember they're just kids, so obviously they have an early sleepover. I mean, they have an early bedtime. Um, this is the one time where a sleepover can actually work out, where they can stay up to like midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning, and they can sleep whenever they want to. I think that's the fun part that Lana has not realized, because the fact is, Lana, it is true that Lana only takes 30 minutes to be in a sleepover, then goes back home. Now with this in mind, it just feels like now that I know that all the fun stuff is happening, I love to stay and I love to eat pizza and watch movies and all that stuff. So yeah, I kind of like that. The fact that like it's not all about sleeping. It really is all about the fun and games that happens at a sleepover. So yeah, but then again, they're just only 5 years old. I mean, it makes sense that Lana doesn't know about that till now. Or
Yeah,
I don't know. I forgot how old they are. I forgot. I have to watch Strike of
seven.
the Party again. They're
Strife of the
7. Yeah,
party, they turned 7. Yeah.
yeah. So they're 7. Okay, yeah. So there you go. But yeah, so Lana ends up having a really fun sleepover with Kayla, and it looked like they were gonna have a fun time. So how anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes, it's nice to see Lana have her own squad of friends, pretty much like how most of her siblings have their own squads of friends, like Lincoln's friends, um, Lucy's friends, Lynn's friends, Luna's friends, and now like Lana's friends. Like, let me tell you, I want to see this group of friends in future episodes. I actually want to see them all together in more episodes because they have potential. They really do have potential to be really good recurring characters.
I really hope so too, because yeah, I mean, when it comes to continuity, when it comes to friends over in the Loud House, they never come back to say. I'm looking at Dana and for Lori and
Darcy,
Lenny.
Darcy.
Darcy's there. Darcy's still there. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
but she doesn't get speaking roles. She doesn't get prominent roles. She doesn't get recurring roles. You know what I mean?
Right,
She gets
right.
like cameos. That's really about it.
Actually, another thing too, have we actually met Lana's friends before? These are the new friends that Lana has made, but have we ever met Lana's friends before besides Skippy from Alice for Love?
Um, I mean, there was one of
Oh,
like it was one of
there's
Lana's
that
other
one
friends
girl.
on Frenzy, the one girl from Frenzy, but
Yeah, yeah,
she's not.
yeah.
She's not here. She's not here
I
in.
was thinking about that one girl, that one preppy girl that what was it? Uh the one girl with the dog, then Lana had to teach Charles how to become proper and stuff like that. Maybe her. Maybe we should have seen her, but no, we didn't either. So I'm guessing she's just a one-shot person too,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, she's still the snooty. Um, she's still the snooty little. Still a snooty little bitch. So,
Oh, oh.
for lack of a
Okay.
better term, I was about to say, like, Nate, this ain't no Disney TVA cartoon, okay? Like, if the Loud House was under Disney TVA, that girl would have came back and she would have been redeemed.
Yeah, that's true. Disney TVA does have their number one. What is the number one network when it comes to shows now?
So,
So,
but since it's under Nickelodeon, she's still the mean girl.
okay, yeah, she is the mean girl. One more thing I also do want to point out: how the hell does Lenny do these kind of voices? Seriously, how does she able to do these chicken voices?
Oh my god! Like, let me tell you, like, she really nails those animal voices
Yeah,
to a T.
I I, I
So
I I I literally laughed my ass off on that. I was like, "What the hell did you do, Lenny? You literally just put a
we
chicken voice. It's a
our
chicken
next
voice. Literally put it in her voice."
our next D. Bradley Baker, ladies and gentlemen, our next D. Bradley
Well, I
Baker.
mean, remember looking back in the previous episodes, remember Liam did scream in a locker like a girl. I'm guessing they're really putting a lot of sound effects now. Chicken voices, girl voices. I think this is how the Loud House is running it here. It's pretty funny. First off, it's really funny. It's really good, really creative that they're doing this.
Yeah, I really like that voice, that vocal range, that voice range.
All right. So yeah, I got nothing much to say. How would you rate Sleepstakes?
Um, I would rate Sweepstakes a 8.5 out of 10 also. Though it is a bit odd for Lana of all characters to have this fear of this phobia of sleepovers because, like I said, she's usually a girl who does take risks. You could definitely see that, she is still a little kid at the end of the day, and usually kids at the age of 7 still do have this fear when it comes to being away from the homes and the families for the night. So I could definitely see from that perspective. And the Loud family is really helpful as well. The way they pretty much help her pretty much get through a sleepover. Lincoln Loud as David Steele. Oh my God, Lincoln Loud as David Steele. Always a bonus. Always a plus. And
I
then of
always,
course,
yeah. Go
uh,
ahead.
and then of course, Kayla and her friends do seem like likable friends of Lana's. They are likable characters, so I do want to see them in more episodes again in the future.
I do love them. I do like this new story that Lana has when it comes to a fear. I mean, like, do the Louds do have their flaws, and I didn't expect Lana to actually have a fear of sleepovers. And I love how this has been executed, where the Loud family continues to support her when it comes to this fear. And even if it all fails in that sleepover, they came over to help her out and do whatever it takes to make her feel comfortable. And I feel like it's just very supportive for them to help Lana out. It's awesome just to see that. And the other thing too is like, yeah, if we get more episodes like this where we get to see a Loud have a fear that we never expected, I want to see it be executed just like this. It looks pretty nice. It's a pretty nice episode of how to deal with like a Loud's problems, and it's like I said, it's really grand. I gotta give this an out of 10. Definitely a really awesome Lana episode, not like the stellar Lana episodes, but it's just awesome to see how she has this crazy fear of sleepovers and just the fact that Loud family is there to help her out. And it's just awesome just to see the support and everything.
Definitely.
All right. Now, besides that, we do have to check out the next two episodes that came out on the 24th. Yes, I did miss out on the 17th. I totally forgot that two episodes did air before this. So I did my mistake on that, but we're going to continue on with this with the schedule that we have here. So let's over to the week after next week, and let's head over to the 24th of June, and let's talk about the episode Catastrophe. Synopsis. You didn't put the synopsis here in the outline apparently. But synopsis here is pretty much was it McBride's family? Was it the McBride's family forgot about um
The McBride's family forgot about the Nana Gill's birthday party, and the not birthday party, but Nana Gill's birthday. So at the very last minute, they pretty much have to go around the um, different shops and to pretty much pick up the birthday goods like birthday cake, decorations, and uh, even a mime, and pretty much trying to make it the best birthday for Nana Gale at the last minute.
Yeah, so to say the least, they totally forgot about Nana Gale's birthday, even though they were celebrating the cat's graduation. So yeah, the episode. So let's start it off here because it just feels like. Sorry, let's start it off with the McBrides, considering that look like they're having a fancy party. Like the cats are graduating, and there's a lot of cats around. Especially, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. This is Mrs. Bernardo's best episode. I am not
Yes,
gonna lie to you. This is Bernardo's best episode.
Mrs. Bernardo. Let me tell you, like she's building herself to become one of my favorite Loud House side characters. She's always a delight to
It's weird
watch.
because like I love like we the last time we saw her was the fact that she hated the fact that she was just about to kill a freaking like cow puppet because she didn't get the role of that. So I was like, okay, we don't like she doesn't like that. And then now we just take to see her actually fulfill her role as being a cat, literally being a cat. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, you do it really well. Throughout this episode, I was just laughing throughout the whole episode. The fact that Mrs. Bernardo continued to act like a cat.
Mrs. Bernardo was perfect as a cat.
Okay, yeah, I see the pun that you're
Perfect.
trying to put here. But yeah, I mean, it looked like to be a perfect celebration here, where you get to see the cats. Was it Cleo and Nepertini ending up graduating from their sophisticated cat college? I don't even know where they went to, but they ended up having a call from Nana Gale, and it turns out it was also her birthday, and they kind of screwed up. They don't forgot about her birthday. So how'd you feel about that? Like, how does Howard actually forget about her mom's birthday or his mom's birthday?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, like this is really convenient timing, Nate. It's actually really convenient timing that we would talk about this episode, considering how in the beginning of this live stream, at the beginning of this video, like I just talked about how I was spending time with my mom, like spend
Mm.
time celebrating her birthday. Who would have thought that in the exact same video we would talk about how Harold, we would talk about how um, who would have thought that in the
Howard,
exact same episode we would talk about how Harold
it's Howard, but yeah,
would treat his mom's birthday in a different fashion, forgetting the mom's birthday.
okay, yeah.
It's
It's Harold or Howard. I forgot.
um Harold.
Harold.
Like
Yeah, it's Harold.
Howard calls Harold Hair Bear. So
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm
remember
getting
that
confused with
Hair
the two
Bear.
dads. I get confused with the two dads. Um, Continue on if you have anything else to say.
Anyway, so it turns out that he forgot his mom's birthday, and that's when things go awry, and that's when Harold panics. Is like, oh my gosh, like I'm the worst son ever. I forgot my mom's birthday. Like, like what kind of son would I be if I forgot my mom's birthday? A horrible, unforgivable monster. It's like I love the over dramaticness of Harold, and considering the fact how the McBride family does theater, which I do highly respect. It does sort of make sense for Harold to get this overly dramatic over forgetting his mom's birthday, and also because he loves his mom. He loves his mom, but he doesn't really see her that often, considering well he's an adult, he does other things. But yeah, forgetting his mom's birthday, that's a bit of a problem.
That's it's just something that I never expected from a son to actually forget about her mom's birthday. Wow, you were celebrating too much on your cats that you totally forgot about Nana Gale's birthday, and yeah, things go awry. Especially with the fact that you need to make a party before she comes out of the sunny shores, like literally less than an hour. Good luck with that.
Seriously.
Oh, geez. So yeah, bad son, Harold. But yeah, so they're pretty much in a panic for Harold to actually get her mom to get a good birthday. So what I love about this though is the fact that the McBrides are going to team up together and work it out, try to get a good party out for Nana Gale. I do love the fact that like they left the house to cats, and who's watching them? Was it Mrs. Bernardo that was supposed to watch them?
Well, yeah, I mean, Mrs. Bernardo is the closest thing to a cat sitter in that scenario because, well, technically she is still a human being, even though she's playing the role of a cat. So it kind of does. Um, well, how do I put this? It sort of like pretty much answers the question right there. Mrs. Bernardo is the closest thing to a cat sitter at that point.
I guess in this case, but I thought, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could, Yeah, Miss Bernardo would babysit the cats, while the McBrides continue to try to figure out a way to make Nana Gale's birthday a success, if they could in any way. So they all split up. Was it Harold had to get the cake, Howard had to get all the party supplies, and Clyde would get the entertainment. So let's actually start off with Harold as he tries to get the cake, and he actually did end up getting the cake by sacrificing his watch to Lola, and nonetheless, he still ended up not getting a
I
cake because he
know.
actually spilled it. Yeah, explain your thoughts on how Harold screwed up in this situation.
Oh my god, Lola Loud cameo, golden. Lola Loud cameo, golden stuff. Like honestly, like I was actually surprised to see Lola of all characters in a McBride episode. How funny is it that it's Lola that makes an appearance in a McBride family episode, but not Lincoln himself? I don't know. It's kind of
Hmm.
funny to me. So anyway, of course, since Lola does love this kind of girly stuff, she would get a red velvet cake because red velvet's kind of a girly color. And so Harold makes a deal with Lola that if she gives him the cake, then he pretty much gives her the watch. And so what happens is that Harold still manages to screw up the cake anyways by looking into the sun, and it's like I'm just like, Harold, you couldn't have just wait until you went to the car.
Yeah.
You have a timer in your car. Why couldn't you just, check the time then? But then no, you have to look into the sun because for some reason you think it still gives you a time estimate, and I'm just like, that's not always the case. It's not always how it works.
Okay, so the Lola cameo makes sense considering that she loves sweets and that she loves pretty things. I love the bribe that Lola did. It's like, it will cost you. I'll give you anything. I like anything you say. Then give me your watch, and then he gave the watch to her. Like a watch, really? Lola loves a watch.
It's a
No.
gold. Like it's the watch is sort of like made out of gold or silver or whatever, so
Okay,
it makes
so maybe
sense.
something pretty. Maybe that's the reason why Lola ended up getting it. Nonetheless, he sacrificed the watch and he still spilled cake because he looked at the sun. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? So
I understand they're in a panic, but I'm like, you gotta be smarter than that, Harold. For some reason. Oh, and one more
exactly.
thing. Also,
Like even in the panic, it was still stupid.
one more thing I want to point out. Was this a Simpsons reference here when this kid actually said "ha ha"?
It kind of was like it's sort of a mixture of Nelson Muns's haha with Bart Simpson riding a skateboard. So yeah, it's pretty much it's sort of like a fusion of two Simpsons characters. So yeah, you could definitely call it a Simpsons reference. By the way, where's Sunny at? Because I know Sunny loves the Simpsons, so I know she would dig that part. This part.
She probably would, yeah. I know she's into The Simpsons and all. All right, so let's move over to Howard's situation because he would be the one responsible for getting all the party decorations. But unfortunately, when we went through the whole party city that they have there, they're all gone. Like everything's all gone. Why? Because of was it Cheryl and Meryl's little party thing that they're having. What happened in this part is like, okay, there's no party supplies. What am I gonna do? Apparently, there's this one crown that this kid was about to grab too, and I'm like, Harold, are you really going to get this from a kid?
Seriously, like if I were her dad, let me tell you, Howard would not have walked away easily. If I were the dad, I would have been like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, the dad
you
was
don't just
there.
take it from your
Look,
kid.
look,
You
the
don't just
dad
take
was
it from a
there
little
too.
girl.
The dad was there too. He was about like throw hands if this got even worse.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm like honestly, Howard should consider himself lucky that her dad never raised a fist anywhere near his face. So
I'm
yeah.
surprised. I was like, whoa. But then again, like I get it. Harold is also desperate for party supplies, so she'll do whatever it takes to at least grab something. And a crown apparently would be the party supply for some reason. I don't know. Maybe some streamers that are currently in the aisleway, or maybe something. I don't know. It's Loud House logic, I guess.
Yeah.
Now let's actually head over to Clyde because he's trying to find the entertainment, and we get to see him go to the Loud House. Oh, interesting! You actually go to the Loud House. Are you visiting Lincoln? No, but you're actually visiting Luann because they are because what? Apparently, Lana Gale loves mimes, and Luann is a mime. Obviously, she does have her mime antics. She was actually dressed up as a mime, but unfortunately, she was actually doing a party. Apparently, it was Lola's party. So, um, how did you like this part here where Clyde tried to get Luann to be the entertainment for Nana Gale's birthday, but he couldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty interesting to see Clyde going into the Loud House, but for the first time, it's actually for a reason that has nothing to do with Lincoln. Because usually when Clyde goes to the Loud House, it's of course to usually spend time with Lincoln and all that stuff, or it's to help Lincoln on his mission. Or on rare occasions, it's to pretty much sneak into the Loud House for other reasons related to Lincoln. Look at Game Boys, for example. But here, though, it's actually to see not Lincoln's sister, not Lincoln's himself, but rather Lincoln's sister, Luann, because he needs a mime. And then, of course, since Luann can't speak, um, and because Luann's going to a thing with the mimes, going to a celebration, of course, Clyde pretty much walks away without completing the mission. Oh, let me tell you, Luann as a mime, so adorable. I really love that moment.
Yeah, I did. um, I gotta, yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see this, and also I also miss Mime Luann as well. But it's kind of cool that from the first for the first line of for the first person to have as entertainment for Clyde, it's always gonna be allowed apparently. And knowing that Luann's a mime, obviously she would go for him. I thought that was actually pretty cool. To actually reference the Loud House. Look, it's not all about the McBrides. There's the Louds there. Lola did make an appearance. Luann make an appearance. So it's cool to see that pop up, which is awesome. So here's the thing. Uh, the cake is gone, no decorations, and no entertainment. To say the least, Nana Gill's birthday turned out to be quite probably gonna be a bummer. But they also did realize this too. They already made a cat birthday, so why not bring the cat birthday supplies and bring it over to Nana Gale's birthday? That's quite an odd situation, don't you think?
Yeah, let me tell you. I have a prediction of how the party will go, and let's just say that it will live up to the episode title, and I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know, but no matter what, the brides would pick up everything, including Mrs. Bernardo, and actually put it all over Sunset Canyon's like reception hall. And they tried to make it Nana Gale's birthday. So yeah, to say the least, looks like everything turned out to go pretty well. They would what was it? They would get cake, which is apparently made by fish. They would have
Ugh.
entertainment. Yeah, they would have some sort of games, apparently like licking milk from a bowl. Uh, so yeah, it's so weird. Like they do these situations where they do these parts where like, oh, they look from a bowl. Okay, cool. Get cake from fish, which is disgusting. Um, get presents, which apparently Nana Gale ended up pulling off like one of those
The
cat
litter,
handlers. A
cat
litter
litter
box, yeah,
box.
cat litter box. And then at the end, they also have the entertainment, which is Mrs. Bernardo. Um, it just turned out to be quite an interesting birthday that Nana Gale had. Explain your thoughts on the birthday.
Yeah, let me tell you, Mrs. Bernardo's one-off show as a cat. Let me tell you, like just a minute of it alone, like already far better than the Cats movie. Like let's just leave it at that. Already far better than the Cats movie. Okay,
She
like
could
no
do better.
contest.
She could do better than cats altogether.
Exactly. Exactly. And also, yeah, honestly, I think Scoot said it best when she said it's Weirdsville because yeah, it kind of is. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You got
It
the
is a
milk
game.
fountain.
Is this the sort of game that they were trying to do? Because it feels like what licking milk from a bowl.
No,
Again,
I
they
think
trying to act like a cat. I don't know.
I think it's trying to act the part as a punch bowl, but then again, it doesn't really work because well,
Mm.
the fountain is pretty much sitting on the floor, and you kind of have to get on your knees, um, and pretty much
And look like a
lick it,
cat. And lick it like a cat. Yeah.
lick it like a cat. Yeah, it is Weirdsville. I think Scoots was right about that. But let me tell you, it's not the only weird thing to happen in the party. Of course, there's also the pinata, which of course instead of candy, it's actually
Oh
cat.
yeah. This was made out of catnip, and then it brought all the boys. Apparently, what was it? Scoots has boys in the party.
Yeah,
I was like,
Scoots and
what?
Tyler, like the guys that they mentioned, were actually the cats themselves, like many cats.
Were you
And let me
thinking
tell you,
when you first heard that? Did you think it was a sick joke?
honestly, the episode title speaks for itself. Like I said, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Look at the episode we're talking about. Look at the name of it. Let me tell you though, the way the party was going and the way the party ended. it was definitely a, oh my god, I can't believe I have to say this, catastrophe. It was a huge catastrophe. Oh god, I can't believe I just said it. I can't believe I just said it.
I gotta say this though. I mean, like I understand that they're trying their best to help Nana Gale when it comes to her birthday, and the fact that like Harold totally forgot about her birthday, so they do whatever it takes to make a ruse to make sure that Nana Gale knows that her son knows about her birthday. But like you've seen in these couple of scenes, everything goes awry. Fish cake, for example. Mrs. Bernardo acting was a great thing, by the way.
Love it.
Yeah, and then also the pinata where there's a lot of cats that come by and also ruin the party. Yeah, if you make it out of catnip, you know that catnip is pretty much like drugs for cats. So obviously he's gonna hook them up with something. There you go. The cats just pretty much ruin the party. Yeah, it's all right. Terrible to say. Oh my god. But yeah. Besides that, um, obviously apologies need to be made. Harold totally forgot about Nana Gale's birthday, so they apologized, and the McBrides also did the same thing. But Nana Gale did forgive him overall at the end. That they did all this effort to make sure that this party still worked out. Um, and it turned out to be very peaceful. I guess it all is well for Nana Gale and the McBrides. How do you feel about this resolution here?
Yeah, honestly, Nana Gale is a one sweet woman. Like, oh my gosh, she has such a forgiving heart. Um, she could definitely see how much effort that the Big Brides put into giving her a birthday. Like, it was a weird, it was a, it was a birthday not fit for humans, rather fit for cats. But then she sees how the McBrides do try to make it fun for her, despite the materials that they had that were given. Um, but then once she sees the effort, she sees how the McBrides really do love her, despite forgetting her birthday. And so, based on that, I would say that she forgives them off, like, although a bit too quickly, a bit too easily, she's still willing to forgive them nonetheless for going above and beyond.
I wish I had a grandma like that.
I
Literally
know.
give them peace. Literally give them peace, even if they tried to, even if they forgot and they tried to make a party, they were still forgiven. And I was like, okay, I guess that works out. I wish I had like a grandma
Uh,
like that.
I mean, grandmas usually are, sweet like that, sweet, forgiving, and all that stuff. So I guess it's expected with some grandmas. You're either a
Yeah,
Nana Gale or you're Scoots. You're either a
yeah.
Nana
There
Gale or
you.
you're Scoots.
You're not now to get our scoots in this case, yeah. But yeah, all looks well for the party, even if it was a disaster. But remember, this is not the end of the episode, though. We do go back to the McBride's house, and apparently, Nefertiti and Cleo still end up having a party. Remember, you left the cats alone. You brought Mrs. Bernardo to as your entertainment, and the cats are pretty much by themselves. So what happens? A cat party. It looked like everything
Yeah.
went awry. This couch just got scratched. The music is bumping, and you also got a conga line happening with the cats. So how'd you like this whole ending here?
Let me tell you. Um, Now the term, like, the when the cat's away, the mice will play. Like, it's now the most ironic figure of speech I've ever heard because of this. Like, when the cat's away, the mice will play. Like, the cats were pretty much the mice in this scene. Let's put it that way.
I would say this though. I love how Harold was just saying like, "I'm gonna call this school and revoke the diplomas or something like that." But at the end, they still end up having a party. Yeah, apparently they all ended up having a good party together, which is fun. I guess this is how it ends. They won't play along with
Yeah.
the cats.
When the McBride's away, the cats will play.
There you go. I guess that's how the motto is in this episode. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes, I would have to say this. The best parts of this episode, it's not really the McBride's family themselves. I love Nana Gale, but I'm not even talking about her being the best part. The best parts for me were, of course, Ms. Bernardo. Ms. Bernardo steals the show. She was perfect. She was a perfect thing. And also the loud cameos. The loud cameos, though brief, actually managed to be more memorable than the main plot line, which is kind of a bit of a problem right there. I'd have to say, but still though, it was nice to see. Like for some reason, like in a McBride episode. In a McBride episode where Lincoln is not present, it's interesting how Lincoln is not present in Clyde's episode, but rather a couple Loud Sisters are. It's kind of a one of a kind, really.
Give I don't know what the award is for theater and stuff, but please give her an award for her role
Tony
as a
Awards.
cat.
It's a Tony Award for
Yes, please give
musical.
her a Tony Award, even if she's fictional. Give her a Tony Award for our
Yes.
performance as a cat throughout the whole entire episode of Catastrophe.
Like I said, like that performance way better than anything from that god awful Cats movie back a few years ago. Just saying.
Please don't remind me of that. That was bad. That was bad of a movie. Yeah. Hey, don't mind the play. The play is great in Broadway, but not in a movie. Not a movie setting. Okay. But yeah. That's all I can say about it. Mrs. Bernardo is just a treasure in this episode. But yeah, let's head over to our reviews. How would you rate this episode, Omid?
I would rate this a 7.5 out of 10. I would have rated it a 7, a solid 7, but then the 0.5, what makes it like just 0.5 higher is Mrs. Bernardo and the Loud cameos. Other than that, though, it's a pretty okay, pretty meh episode. Not all that memorable, really. Like of course the McBrides, while very likable, don't really manage to make a compelling story in which they forgot the mom's birthday, much like how the husband forgets the wife's and husband's anniversary. That's what it sort of felt like to me, where it's like they forget a special day and then they pretty much do all these last minute stuff. And not to mention though, like Harold could have avoided forgiving his mom's birthday if he had just wrote a calendar or something like that. So there was some stuff that didn't make sense. And also the sun thing was really stupid.
I would say this though. This was just a mess. I'm sorry, all the Loud House
It was a
fans
mess,
out
yeah.
there. There was definitely a mess.
It was
Looking
a catastrophe. Look at the episode title.
Yeah, looking back at the episode, I'm like, I get it. This is a McBride episode, but oh god, I'm like, Howard forgot her mom's. Sorry, Harold forgot her mom's birthday, and obviously they're celebrating a cat thing. I don't know why they ended up pulling the cat supplies out from that party and bringing it over to Nana Gale's. The whole scenario of the party definitely already felt sus with everything already around it. I mean, even the older people were already noticing that it was all bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, and then the bride's trying to play along, saying like, "Hey, this is all about this. Is referencing this. Is referencing this." And I'm like, "No, this is just a bad party." And this doesn't really help out the McBrides because it just tells you like it's not that good to see. The McBrides just like this. They're sweethearts. They're really awesome, like parents, and also Clyde is amazing, but in a way like this, it just tells you like they're definitely disastrous. They totally forgot about someone's birthday and they end up going like last minute doing this kind of stuff. And yeah, a lot of cats everywhere, and it's just weird of an episode to say the least. So I have to give this a 6 out of 10. The only thing that would make it not a 5 is because of Mrs. Bernardo. That's the only thing that I like about this episode. It's Mrs. Bernardo, because she definitely was like I said, she's the treasure. In this episode, she definitely portrays the cat well. I laughed my ass off whenever Mrs. Bernardo was doing an act. It's great just to have her actually in this episode. Like, you've seen her cameo appearances before, like in what was it? Like we've seen her we've seen her cameo performances before, like it's just for the part, but not like this where she actually is in role and everything like that. Like, please, can we have more of that Mrs. Bernardo episode, please? Can we have that, please?
Yeah, it's definitely like one of the weaker. It's definitely one of the weakest episodes of the season for sure. It's definitely one of the weaker season 6 episodes.
All right, so expect that to be one of the worst, the bottom 5 of our next year's tournament.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised with that. I honestly wouldn't be surprised by it.
All right, we have one more episode to review here, and it's called Prize Fighter. Let's actually talk about the synopsis here. Lola worries she's already a washed-up pageant star when she wins a Lifetime Achievement Award. So this episode would begin with Lola turning in attendance records for Cheryl, but she also know about this whole Lifetime Achievement Award. Called the Minnie McFiggy Award. this is for the highest honor of being a pageant and being a pageant star and everything. So she would do whatever it takes to make sure that she ends up getting it by actually wowing the judges, for example. First off, how did you feel about Lola trying to get that lifetime achievement award? Because it feels like this is totally what she would do, especially with the fact that it's a pageant thing.
Well, yeah, obviously, whenever there's some sort of like pageant award, of course, Lola wants to get in on it. She wants to do whatever it takes to win it. Um, this is sort of similar to how it's played in Community Disservice, where pretty much she pretty much discovers that there's
Mm.
a big pageant award coming. She wants to do whatever it takes to get it. It sort of like plays by the numbers with the Community Disservice. This stuff pretty much Community Disservice 2.0, I felt.
Kind of does. It kind of feels like it's a follow up towards community service when you think about it, considering like, oh, she was trying to be nice to Millie for an award. By the way, where's Millie? Can we have Millie? Please bring her
I
back.
know. What have you done to Millie? What have you done to Millie?
I don't
It's
know. Loud house, please bring her. Anyways, but yeah, it just kind of feels that way, considering that Lola heard about this award and she'll do whatever it takes to get it. And I feel like whenever it comes to pageantry, we never get to see pageant episodes of Lola in a while. I mean, I think the last episode they actually saw her in a pageant would be, I think, Community the Service.
yeah, that's pretty much the thing. Like I said before, it already feels like Community Service 2.0 just by the fact that, um, like I said before, Passion Award trophy gets mentioned. Lola is interested. Lola schemes to get it. So on and so forth.
So when it comes, like, I think just when it comes to awards or when it comes to like doing something that would make her really pretty, she will actually land on that role and do whatever it takes to get it. But that is Lola for you. She would do whatever it takes to make sure she gets a pageant win or to get sort of the honor that she is as a pageant queen to say. So for her to actually get the McFiggy Award, she needs to become a quote good girl and do good deeds. So let's go to the scenarios because she goes through every judge and does a good deed, quote unquote good deed in front of them. So let's go to Cheryl because she's one of the judges. And I love this part here where Mr. Grouse, well, she tries to help Mr. Grouse walk across the street, but by bribing him. Explain your thoughts on this. Explain your thoughts on this.
I love the fact how Mr. Grouse mentions that pretty much with the money itself that Lola is paying him, like he's also asking for coupons to Lynn's table. That was pretty funny because Mr. Grouse does like eating at Lynn's table minus a taunting hour. So that was pretty funny to see. And second off, Diamonds Are For Never reunion. I repeat, we got a Diamonds Are For Never
Mhm.
reunion. It's just like the both of them having screen time together. And then, of course, you see Lola pretend to walk Mr. Grouse in the street in order for Cheryl to see. And wouldn't you know it, it worked like a charm. It really did work like a charm. So Cheryl is impressed, which gets her one step closer to getting the award.
That actually does help her out. I mean, like, I hate the fact that Lola would have to bribe, was it Mr. Grouse for him to like fall down and actually like walk him across the street. He did end up losing his groceries in the process too. But nonetheless, I mean, Cheryl did look at that. She gave him an she had some impressions about that, and good for Lola that she ended up getting the impression from Cheryl.
Yeah, I agree.
So now let's go to the second judge, Dana Dufresne. Oh, I totally forgot about her.
Yes.
That's the last time we saw her again. Was it Gown and Out?
Gown and Out. Gown and Out. One of the best episodes of the season.
So yeah, Dana Dufresne. She's one of the judges, and what Lola does is pick up trash right in front of her. How'd you feel about Lola just pretending to pick up trash to make sure Dana gets the recognition too?
You know, I'm actually surprised that she managed to pretty much pick up like a full garbage bag and then have mud all over her face. Because usually she'd be like, like when it comes to that kind of stuff, we've seen her struggle with it in patching things up. So I'm thinking to myself, she must have learned how to, you know, get used to it. Like she must have learned from Lana how to deal with the mess, how to deal with like the mud and the garbage and all this stuff. I think somewhere down along the line, Lana must have taught her how to embrace the dirt and all that stuff. So that would be my guess. That would be my guess. But hey, if it didn't happen on screen, it might not have happened at all. So
My
that's
thing
kind of
is,
the golden
my,
rule.
my thing is that this is for pretend. Lola will do whatever it takes to make sure that she gets at least some recognition from the judges. So she would do this whole down and dirty thing where she would pick up garbage and stuff like that. And yeah, good reference back to patching things up. But yeah, it's been what, 4 seasons after that. So I think along the lines, Lola would probably like get used to the fact that garbage is everywhere. I mean, they did have a birthday party together with Lana with garbage mostly around.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I do remember. I think that ever since Strive for the Party, she's learned to grow accustomed,
Mhm.
like learn to uh, you know not to be so ick when it
Yeah.
comes to garbage and mud and dirty stuff.
So yeah, I think she's getting used to that too. All right, now to the last judge, who is Howard. Um, and Howard, what was it? All that Lola did was pretty much said that, oh, I've done this to I've done this over at the Sunset Shores and everything. How do you feel about this role here, where Lola tries to impress Howard here?
Isn't it kind of a funny role reversal? How in the previous episode that we talked about, like Howard has a main role and Lola has a cameo. Now it's pretty much the roles reversed, in which Lola has a main role and Howard has sort of a secondary or like a secondary role himself. It's kind of funny how Lola pretty much meets one of the McBride parents in some way, shape, or form on these two episodes. Anyway, so Lola, of course, dresses as a candy striper and pretends to help out the elderly. And of course, just like the first two times, just like the first two judges, like she manages to win him over like that. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, she now successfully has is now like she's on the road to getting the Mini McFiggy Award, which like she now is confident she's gonna get now very soon.
Pretty much that. I mean, I have nothing much to say about this one. This is more of like Lola trying to help the elderly, and even if there was a lot of elderly like situations happening, like the pudding machine being jammed, Lola had to come over and clean that up, and all this jazz. It's like, oh, Lola's pretty much stuck in the situation of actually helping out the elderly. So hey, congrats, Lola, you're in that situation. Hey, but yeah,
Yeah,
she ends up getting that recognition from Howard, and it looked like everything all goes well for her. In fact, the next day, Meryl literally leaked it out to Lola that she would win the McFiggy Award. So congrats to her. But as she was trying to get a gown for that award, something popped up where a couple of other pageant girls said that with Lola winning the award, she's cursed. Wow, that's not good for Lola.
yeah.
So how'd you feel about that? That when she heard the fact that it's cursed, it's a scenario for Lola to do whatever it takes to not get it now.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, now that she overheard it, she's thinking to herself, now she's got to do a total 180 and play the mean girl now. And let's be honest, considering it is Lola, it is something that comes to her naturally. So,
Mm,
um, so she plays the monster in each of these different types of scenarios, and we're gonna touch upon that right now. Um, like she pretty much plays the part of the monster by doing these to each judge, like from dropping and spilling Dana's coffee drink on the floor at the burned out black and bean. Like, by the way, a certain character that I'm still not too fond of because of her because of her dissing Luna and taunting Hour. She's still bad. So I'm just like, I still hate you. I still hate you.
mm.
And also, second off, she runs over and ruins Howard's prize-winning petunias, um, which does leave Howard quite devastated. And worst of all, oh my god, this is the worst crime of the three. Let me tell you what it is. Oh my god, she commits one of the most inhumane crimes possible, spoiling Southern hospitality for Cheryl. Lola, you are a monster. How dare you? You do not spoil their favorite show. What is wrong with you?
Oh god, yeah, that was like the worst crime of it all. I love the fact that like Cheryl and Errol, I mean, they definitely love the show. And the fact that when Lola just literally said that spoiler, obviously with the tears, and then I love how Lola's just pretty much says oopsie, oopsie, oopsie to
That
every
was
to
cute.
every scenario. Like literally, she's cutting petunias in Howard's front yard. She literally spilled Data's coffee and just says oopsies. I'm like, okay, this just it just feels like it just keeps getting worse and worse. Like the coffee scenario to cutting the roses, and then the spoiler. It just keeps getting worse and worse. To say the least, yeah, she definitely is a monster. What the hell happened to Lola? But I understand the reason why, considering that she doesn't want that award. But yeah, still, Lola, you monster.
I love those oopsie. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's a great. But yeah, that's just interesting to say, and to say the least, like she did go full 180, and the judges definitely will not like her to get the award anymore. And it's true considering that those gossipers actually do say that Lola's not gonna get it anymore. It's gonna give it to another person. Um, so yeah, it turns out later on it seems to have worked against her favor because a certain friend does come back. Oh yeah, we have not seen her in quite a while, have we? Hello,
Yeah.
Cricket Van Doren. Wow, you're back.
Yes.
What? Yes,
Cricket
hello,
is
welcome,
back.
Cricket.
Yes. Lola's bestie right there. Lola's bestie. What's up?
So
Let's go.
and where's Millie? Where is
I
she?
know. The OT3 needs to be complete. The OT3 needs to be
Oh
complete.
god, it'd be great. But here's the thing: like when I saw Cricket come back, I'm like, Cricket came back! Yay! Oh my god, this is
Yes.
amazing! I can't believe the Loud Crew actually recognized her as a best friend. Yes, that episode was amazing, by the way, for Cricket Van Doren and Lola Loud to actually interact with each other, and now they're literal best friends and they're Patrick mates. It makes sense. But yeah, I can't believe it. Cricket Van Doren is back, and she's actually helping Lola out in her scenario, especially the fact that she lost an award. But Cricket did give her bad news also. Those who actually win the award do become successful. One's a mayor, and one. And here's the thing: like they become successful and lose pageantry, which makes sense because like if you have that honor, you do grow up with that honor in your record. Definitely gives you a lot of big roles for you.
Oh yeah. One of them went
So
to
why
Mars.
did
One of them went to Mars.
yeah? So why did Lola have to do this? If that was the case,
I know. I kind of don't like how she bought into the rumor that easily. You would think
yeah.
that she would go around and ask if it was, cursed. Honestly, you want to be better if Cricket had a more prominent role in the episode, in which she would appear for like more than 1 or 2 minutes, and then like have Cricket help Lola out in her schemes, or at the very least, or at the very least, like have her be like this, voice of reason, and then tries to stop Lola from sabotaging her chances of the war, but then she doesn't listen. Like I'm just like, like Cricket could have had a much more prominent role, but then I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? At least Cricket is here. I love the fact that she does come back, and yeah, I can't believe it. The Loud Crew recognized her as the best friend of Lola. Awesome, and cool that you actually recognize Cricket. We have missed her since that pageant thing that happened a long time ago. Now can you bring back Millie? I swear to God, literally.
Exactly. Like I
I mean,
said,
she's a sweetheart. She's
OT3.
a sweetheart too. She's a sweetheart too. Please bring her back if anything. Oh my
Lola
God.
OT3. Let's make it happen. Let's go.
All right, so now this gets so here's the thing. Lola now knows that the award is actually good. It's not cursed. It's more towards actually making yourself successful. This is where Lola has to go again, a full 180. First off, I didn't expect this, but why did we bring? I hate to mention his name again, but apparently he appeared in this episode. I thought we had a clean slate of no Flip, but he said in this episode too. Ah.
Yeah, but at the very least, Flip is used in small doses in this particular episode, so he doesn't really affect the episode all that much, at least for the worst or anything like that. So it wasn't really much of an. I hate to admit this, but Flip's appearance in this wasn't much of an issue when it comes to this episode, though. So yeah,
That's a
I still hate this
that's a
guy,
surprise.
but this
That's a
I still hate
surprise.
this guy, but I still hate this guy, but he's this is one of his more tolerable
I was
appearances.
gonna say this is a surprise considering how you hated Flip a whole lot. at
Like I
least,
said, I
at least
still
it
do,
wasn't
but
at least he wasn't emphasized in like season 4 and 5 because like he was all over the place throughout those seasons.
he was like Russ here. It's more like a minute or two of him, and he doesn't really affect the plot all that much, at least for the worst. So, like I said, one of his more tolerable appearances. Still don't like the character.
Yeah, I understand that. But yeah, so Lola wants to make this ruse where he had to rescue Flip from the fountain, I guess. But in the process, Lola does meet up with the winner, Diana Sherwood. But you also get to realize Diana Sherwood actually does have these nice abilities. Like she's very nice to the elderly people. She loves to interact with them a whole lot more. To say the least, she definitely is. She definitely deserves the award. Versus Lola, who definitely is a selfish person, and it took her a while for her to realize that. How would you like this whole resolution here, where Lola does give up the prize to Diana Sherwood? And end up not getting that award.
Like I said, it plays along the lines of community disservice. So, of course, in the third act, Lola pretty much listens to her conscience, like pretty much looks around and realizes she messed up. So she gives up the pageant trophy that she's been wanting to pretty much do the right thing. The same thing here, where she does apologize to the judges for how she's been acting and says that Diana Sherwood is the rightful person to get the trophy because she's actually earned it, because she's never once thought about any awards or attention or anything like that. She just loves helping the elderly and helping the community out, um, which causes Lola to think maybe she deserves it and I don't. So I do like that change of heart from Lola. We do see that much more. We do see it quite often, but it's a good thing because it's a breath of fresh air from the usual bratty sister trope. Like it's sort of a how do I put it? Breath of fresh air to see her have a heart of gold.
It's yeah, and that's really good for Lola, considering that she actually does see the fact that Diana definitely does deserve this award compared to what she is, and it just tells you that she's a growing woman. She's a growing young girl. What? She's only 7 years old. She's still a brat, but besides being a brat, she does also realize the rights and wrongs, and it definitely was kind of cool just to see Lola realize the fact that she doesn't deserve the award. She doesn't deserve the award. Obviously, she doesn't. Diana definitely does deserve it. So when she comes up in front of those judges, she pretty much says, "Yeah, I don't care if you don't like me." And with the fact that, like, with all the things that she's done to them, I love the fact that they were all scared of her when they first saw her.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
who could blame him? Who could blame him? Like I'd be scared of the Little Menace myself too. If she
yeah.
did any of those things to me, especially spoiling my favorite show. Seriously, but don't do that. Come on, don't spoil
Right,
it.
right. Nonetheless, in the end, Lola would give up the effort for her to go get her trophy, and poor little Flip, because he's still quote unquote drowning, and the act is pretty much all gone. So she pretty much wasted money and a couple of Lynn's free meals. But to say the least, all is still good for Lola, because in the end, Diana would get the award, but at the end, but also an award for Lola as well, especially over in Sunset Canyon. She does end up getting, I don't know, whatever that award is, but nonetheless, it is for her efforts of helping out the elderly there in Sunset Canyon. How would you like this ending here, where she does end up getting an award for her hard work?
I love the fact that she does go back to Sunset Canyon, but this time it's to genuinely, help. It's not for any awards. It's not for any ulterior reasons at all. No, it's mainly because she wants to help build her character instead of building her image. She wants to become more like Diana Sherwood, and I do like the fact that it's pretty much a start for her to pretty much work as a volunteer in Sunset Canyon. By the way, I think that there's potential for Lola episodes to take place in Sunset Canyon as volunteers, especially when Albert will come to play to pretty much help Lola out with the tasks that she's required to do.
We don't know if Lola would be able to volunteer again, but that would be pretty good. That would be a pretty good idea if Lola, if she ends up getting this award. I would imagine Lola continue to come back and actually support Sunset Canyon, but we don't know. Time will tell. She is still that young kid, and who knows, the possibilities for her are still out there. But to say the least, this award definitely does help her out. Maybe later on we'll let her get that. What was it, the Mini McFiggy Award later on in life.
Yeah, pretty
All right,
much.
all right. That's pretty much it for the episode. Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes. Like I want to see. I kind of want to see this. Lola and Cricket hanging out with Lana and Kayla.
Ah, please.
Like
I would
the
love to have more of like Cricket Lola interactions. Just the fact that Cricket did come back just tells me that there's potential that more Lola and Cricket episodes could happen, but who knows?
No, this will be interesting, because in a way, it could be like a much better version of how the best was won. Because you know how the twins always argue and fight and such. Well, what if you have them like competing against each other with their own respective BFFs? Like you got Lola and Cricket versus Lana and Kayla. I kind of want to see that matchup
Hmm.
come to play.
What if they actually all have like a friends day out together? You know, those like
Yeah.
Lana's friends and Lola's friends, hanging out. That'd be pretty cool. Like a day out, a hangout over at the Loud House. It'd be pretty nice.
Yeah. Now, of course, you do have Lana and her set of friends, which are four friends, and then you got Lola's set of friends, which are Lola, Cricket, Millie. They may have to find a fourth friend for Lola's group to sort of like match to kind of even it out. Chances are she might have to go with the pageant girl who was in Frenzy.
Maybe her. I would love to see if Lindsay Sweetwater can actually make an appearance in the show.
I
She only appeared as a freaking shadow in season 1, but that was it.
um
I really do hope we get to see Lindsay Sweetwater and Lola have something
Yeah,
like a
but
rivalry.
I wouldn't count on Lindsay Sweetwater to be Lola's friend because at the end of the day, Lindsay does still hate Lola. She still considers her
Hmm.
as a pageant rival. So obviously, it's still not going to work out.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, the possibilities are out there. We do have a new season coming out. One more thing I want to bring up. Her voice sounded familiar, by the way. Diana sounded familiar to me.
Yes, she voices the same. She shares the same voice actress as, of course, my favorite Loud, best character in the show, Nika Futterman. Nika Futterman was Diana Sherwood. Like, let me tell you, um, like pretty much, how should I put this? Like she sounds like Luna Loud if she was inhaled by helium.
I think it was a very, very high pitched Luna because, like, I get it. Like, she's supposed to be a kid. Luna Loud's voice is pretty much there for you, from Nika Futterman's regular voice. But then, if she's trying to be a kid, she's trying to go a little higher. But you can totally hear Luna in that voice.
Yes, I like. I reckon. I know. Like I can. Like I know the sound of my favorite character when I hear it. Okay, no matter which character it is.
No doubt about it. Yeah. All right. I got nothing else to say. So, what is your rating for Prize Fighter?
My rating for Prize Finder is going to be I would give this an 8 out of 10. It feels like a repeat of Community Service, but there are some things that it does differently from Community Service, where it's pretty much her trying to save her from being a washed up pageant at the age of 7. And in order to do that, she pretty much has to, like first she tries to put on the nice girl face and she tries to do the mean girl face, and then she tries to do nice again, but then she kind of has a change of heart there, and then of course Cricket is back, baby, let's go, bingo bango, wait, wrong Cricket.
Wrong cricket. No. Oh,
Wrong
the wrong
Cricket.
cricket. Oh,
What am
Lisa's
I
gonna hate you
saying? No.
now.
Anyway, still like definitely a good way for Lola to grow even more as a character. Whereas community service, she learns to be a better friend. um Prize fighter, she learns to be like a better volunteer, especially when she decides to do good, for all the good reasons, not for all the ulterior reasons per se. And we see that how she has a change of heart, especially the ending. So good on Lola for that.
Yeah, I have to say this though. This is Lola pretty much just trying to get the award, but doesn't. But in the end, tries to do something nice. So you're right, Omid. It kind of feels like the copy of community service, considering that she did this all for a prize, and in the end, she reverses her role and just gives up an award or goes back to her friend and have a good time. So yeah, I mean, it just feels like that in this episode, and it all works out in the end because like it just makes Lola a better character. So I do love it. Not like one of the best Lola episodes out there, but definitely helping her out, especially when it comes to not making her a brat anymore. Yeah, she did act like a brat, especially when she was spoiling Southern hospitality. But in the end, she also does realize that it isn't all about the prize. It is all about just being nice. So yeah, I'm gonna be with Omid here and also say 8 out of 10 for this. This definitely was not a bad episode. I actually liked it. So yeah, Prize Fighter, definitely a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Lola manages to always steal the show because she's such an interesting character to watch. She's one of those characters that you could put her in any scenario and she would manage to make it great because of the energy she has and how she has this balance between being nice and being mean, mostly on the mean side. Not, and that's what makes Lola Loud one of my favorite Loud House characters.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, that is all 4 episodes that we have reviewed tonight. So that is pretty much it for our episode here. So remember that you can listen to our Loud Casa Talks podcast on our podcast providers: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever the podcast will be there. And also, if you like the stream, also if you like YouTube, sorry, yeah, also subscribe to our YouTube channel because that's where we have most of our videos there. Also hit the bell as well to be notified whenever a video drops over our YouTube channel. And if you have been watching on our Twitch channel, please follow on our Twitch channel so you can get to see all the live streams that pop up before it comes on YouTube. So if you want to be part of the live audience during the streams, please head over to our Twitch, follow us, and you'll be notified when we will come on. Next week, we will go back to the Casa Grandes to review the Casa Grandes episodes that also came out. We have a lot of episodes that we have to review now. So every week we're going to be doing this now.
Yes.
What's coming up? We're going to be reviewing A Fidelity, Cut the Chisme, and Phantom Freakout. Definitely the last one is what we're going to be talking about, considering Louds are back, but with
Oh,
Clyde.
yeah. We're going to save the best for last, so get ready for that.
All right, and yeah, so get ready to check us out next week as we review these 3 episodes. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all that we have here. So again, thank you all for checking out the stream. I'm sorry for those who are watching on Twitch that we had some technical difficulties, but we were able to at least get this recording done. So for those who are watching on YouTube, I hope you guys like it. And like I said, we'll be back next week to do another one.
Yeah, so get ready for more because let me tell you, there's going to be a whole bunch of more episodes coming. So we can't wait to talk about those and share our thoughts with you guys.
All right, and that's it for us here. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. It's always fun to do this. And until next time, smell you later, Loud Crew.